Happy Tuesday, everybody. From Houston, Texas, welcome to Stellar Parenting with Brandi. I am your host, intuitive astrologer Brandi Kahn. I also hold a Master of Science degree in psychology with an emphasis in child and adolescent development. And I'm super passionate about teaching parents, teachers, and guardians how to combine the magic of the stars with the art of consciously raising children. You can find me online at brandycon.com. That's Brandi with an I, and Khan is Khan. And if you are interested in being a caller on my show, please join my Facebook group, Psychology Infused Astrology, and sign the list, and I will be happy to have you on the show. So, for today, what we're going to do, we are going to go over transits for the week. We've got a really busy week when it comes to the sky. So, I'm going to go over the transits with you, and we will do our weekly series of In the Spotlight, and then we should have time for a caller. So, if you are interested in either an astrology reading or a tarot reading, please call into the show, and I'd love to speak with you. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the astrology for the week, to the transits for the week. So we just had Mercury, the planet of communication, moving out of the sign of Libra and into the sign of Scorpio. So this is going to slightly shift how we think and how we communicate with each other. And Mercury is in Scorpio for the next 3 weeks. So with Mercury and Scorpio, it's a really good time for strategic planning, for really deep thinking and having deep conversations with the people in our lives about things that we have probably been uncomfortable to discuss before. So, Mercury and Scorpio is the perfect time to do that. You might also notice that your intuition might seem a lot stronger over the next few weeks with Mercury and Scorpio. And you might find yourself even being more direct and more honest with people around you. But this can go both ways. So I want you to remember with Mercury and Scorpio, yes, it's good to be honest. It's great to be direct, but remember to use empathy and remember to heavily weigh the consequences of using certain words with people in your life. You want to make sure that you are being sensitive to their needs as well as you are expressing yourself. Alrighty, so as of yesterday, guys, we have the Sun in Libra squaring Mars in Cancer. And if you know anything about astrology, you know that with a square, there is an aspect of tension, brings tension. So you might find yourself, and over the last couple days, maybe you've noticed it, you might be feeling a little bit more short tempered, or maybe you're feeling a little bit more frustrated, not only with yourself, but with those around you. Okay. And on top of all of that, on top of the sun squaring Mars, we do have Chiron. Chiron is opposing the sun and squaring Mars. So Chiron is in this mix as well. So be very aware about how you are using this energy this week. You can use it for healing. You can use it for having really hard conversations. But if you're not being deliberate or intentional, then this energy can lead to having needless conflicts with the people around you and the people that are in your life. Also, yesterday, we officially had Venus opposing Uranus, and Venus is still opposing Uranus for the better part of this week. And so, what I want you to remember with that transit is to expect the unexpected. So simply expect the unexpected. There can be surprise developments, things that happen in your life that you never saw coming, or things just might seem a little bit unsettled or maybe unstable or like they're in flux for you with this Venus opposing Uranus. But this aspect can also bring exciting new creative projects as well. So if there's anything that you've been wanting to try that's different, or if you just want to break out of your daily routine, step out of your daily routine and use this energy consciously and in a functional way, change up your way to work. Change up what you have for breakfast or what you have for lunch. Do something a little different and have fun with this particular transit. All right. And so today, Tuesday, October 15th, we have Venus in Scorpio trining Neptune. Now, with the trine, that's a supportive aspect. Okay. And this might be a supportive transit if you find yourself really needing to release something in your life, and stop trying so hard and just allow what's going to happen. Allow the pieces of the puzzle to fall into place. So with Venus trine Neptune, um, it's almost like we feel called just to trust, just to take our hands off of the steering wheel and say to the universe, thy will be done. Thy will be done. I trust that what is unfolding is for my highest good. And I trust that I am being led to the place that I need to be. And with Venus trining Neptune, you might feel a lot more sensitive to the energy around you. You might feel a lot more sensitive. You might be feeling your emotions or other people's emotions in a much more pronounced way. And if so, it's okay to take time for yourself. It's okay to take time alone, if you need to do that. So please remember that. All right, big thing this week, on Thursday, we will have a full moon at 24 degrees of Aries. And with this full moon in Aries, there may be a surge of energy that makes you feel really brave, bold, and courageous. And you might decide to take action and to move forward with something that you've been thinking about or planning for quite some period of time. What I want you to remember is generally with full moons, we experience our emotions in a much stronger way, in a much more intense way. And with this full moon is not only ruled by Mars and Cancer, this full moon will also be squaring Mars and Cancer. So there's the square again, the 90-degree angle that can indicate some feelings of tension. Okay. So this really is going to amp up the feelings or the emotional quality of this full moon. So keep that in mind. And with Mars and Cancer and the moon, you might notice that there are themes in your life this week dealing like with home, family, childhood, your relationship with your mother, anything like that. But it's the perfect time to leave certain patterns of behavior behind that we've been wanting to release for some time. So with these transits this week, I really want you all to practice self-awareness. Have self-awareness this week. All right. And be very intentional about how you are using this energy. How are you creating? Because you are all very, very powerful creators and you can shape your reality. So, my question to you is how are you going to use all of the energy this week to shape your reality? So, be very intentional and deliberate about that. Now, for our weekly series of In the Spotlight, we do have Moon in Scorpio this week. So if your child has their moon in the sign of Scorpio, or if there are other personal planets, let's say Mercury, Mars, Venus, or, what about the sun, the luminary, the sun? Yes, the sun as well. I would like for you to listen. Okay, this is very important. And I'm coming more so from the aspect of the moon in Scorpio because the moon is so important when we're talking about our children and we're talking about how we parent them. Because the moon helps us to understand our children at a very deeper level. Because the moon not only represents our feelings and our emotions and our sensitivity. But the moon also symbolizes what makes us feel safe, what makes us feel secure, what makes us feel nurtured. And you really want to know that about your child. That's a key part of their inner psychology. So when it comes to Scorpio, Scorpio is a fixed water sign. So emotions are very pronounced when it comes to Scorpio and Scorpio placements, and persistence, consistency is and focus is something that's also important. So it's essential that you understand with Scorpio that there is a deep psychological need with this sign. And the deep psychological need at play for Scorpio is for transformation, healing, and empowerment. Okay. And, with pop astrology, there's a lot of misunderstanding that's being perpetuated as far as the sign of Scorpio goes. And I don't quite think it's all fair. There's very dark traits or characteristics that are attributed to the sign of Scorpio. And I understand that. But what I want you to remember is that every one of the 12 signs, there's a spectrum of expression. We can express that energy at the highest level, right? And be very, very balanced. Or we can express that energy at the lowest level and be, very unbalanced or dysfunctional. So, yeah, when it comes to the lower level of Scorpio, there can be some intensity as far as behavior that people could be acting out. But that's with all of the 12 signs. And I don't think that Scorpio should so much bear the brunt of it, which I think they do many times. But if you have a child, or, if there's even an adult with moon and Scorpio placements, or other personal planets there, or the sun, they're going to be very hypersensitive. They feel things at a very, very deep level. But as they're feeling things at a deep level, so many times the people around them are completely unaware because they tend to keep their emotions hidden. The emotions are internalized and they're buried very, very deep many times, and it makes it difficult for them to express their feelings. Now, this can be a problem for two reasons. Number one, emotions that are not integrated within our bodies, they can impact our physical health. And all you have to do, there's so much information now about somatic healing, about how we store anger in our liver or grief in our lungs, right? And if we don't process that emotion, it can lead to physical unwellness. So, what we want to do with our children who've got their moon in Scorpio, we want to help them to process and integrate that emotion, talk about what they're feeling. If you can get them to open up. And I say, if you can get them to open up, because one of my children does have his moon in the sign of Scorpio, and it's very difficult to get him to open up. Number two, another reason why, holding on to emotions, like for people with Scorpio placements, it can be a problem, is because eventually everything that's held inside, it's like, water behind the dam that just bursts open eventually, right? So we can stuff and stuff and stuff our emotions and repress our emotions. And then there's just, the straw that will break the camel's back one day, and it just comes bubbling forward. And many times it comes bursting out in a very dysfunctional or harmful way. So we want to make sure that we're helping our children to feel their feelings and to acknowledge their emotions before we get to a breaking point. And if you are an adult listening to this with strong Scorpio placements, I would advise the same for you as well. And with Scorpio placements, there's a potential for very, very strong levels of intuition or intuitive development. So please keep that in mind if you have a child with their moon in Scorpio, they're very sensitive to energy. They're sensitive to the people around them. They're sensitive to the environment around them. But one of their gifts is they have a knack for discovering what is hidden, or finding buried knowledge. Like so, they could make really good researchers or detectives. And as I was growing up, one of my favorite series to read was Nancy Drew, the girl detective. And I imagine Nancy Drew was a Scorpio. I mean, there was no case that she could not solve. And so that's one of the gifts of Scorpio. So, with children and adults with their moon in Scorpio, there's this experiencing of the emotions in a very intense manner. And so, I want to talk about anger. And how do you approach teaching your child about anger, especially if they've got strong Scorpio energy in their chart? So, should we teach our children that anger is bad and to stuff it and repress it? That's what we should teach, right? Absolutely not. No, 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 no. Anger is one of our six primal emotions, and anger is our protector emotion. And it lets us know when our boundaries have been crossed or our needs are not being met. And our children will need their anger in order to speak up for themselves as they are growing up into adults. And I'll use myself, for example. I grew up in Mississippi. Southern hospitality is a real thing down there. And as a young girl, I was programmed not only by my family, but also teachers and society at large that anger was bad. Good girls don't get angry. Never show that you're angry. Always be sweet. Always be sweet. You want to be sweet. You want people to think of you as being a sweet girl, right? That was the programming that I had. And it made it very difficult as I grew into an adult to really be assertive and to speak up for myself and to really um, know how to work with my anger in a way where I was not just completely repressing it. So, anger used responsibly can be a mobilizing force and it can help us to take care of ourselves. And I want you to teach your children that all their feelings are safe. And if they are feeling anger, help them to name what they're feeling. Where is it located in their body? What color is it? And we can channel that anger in a very constructive way, either through physical activity. Your child can ride their bike, they can listen to music, go play the piano, paint a picture. That's the way that we process and integrate anger. So please remember that as parents, share that with your children. And if you've got a child with their moon in Scorpio, I wish you all the best. They are very, very sensitive individuals, but very aware of the energy around them. Okay. All righty. So now we are going to head to our caller, and we have our caller on the line. Hello. How are you? Irene?
Hi. Hi, can you
Hi,
hear me?
Irene. How are you doing? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. And you're from the UK, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Nice to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. Now, for today, would you like astrology or tarot?
Um, let's go for tarot, shall we?
Okay. Yes, we sure can. All right. And I'm going to shuffle the cards. And is there anything in particular, any area in particular you wanted me to focus on?
I don't know, I guess maybe the future.
The future. Okay.
I know.
All right. So let me just connect here with the energy. Irene, Irene, Irene. We want to know about the future. Okay. Future. Okay, Irene. So I'm going to use a Celtic cross as the spread, and I want you to tell me when to stop, please.
Okay, stop.
Okay, great. All righty. Oh, wow. Okay. So this is a very strong spread that I have, and I do have the Wheel of Fortune as the card. showing what's going on right now. So with the Wheel of Fortune, I always think of change. There's some type of change that's occurring, or that has possibly just happened. And usually with this change, though, it's something that you feel is positive. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. But I do have as the challenge card, the judgment card. And so there's this sense, though, of change that is coming or change that has come that feels positive, but either you might feel a little bit uneasy about it or other people have judgment about the change. Does that make sense?
okay, yeah,
Okay. Okay, great. And your personal power card, we actually have the Ace of Cups. And I will mention it almost feels as if there's something here dealing with a relationship, or a partnership. Is that a particular area of your life right now, a significant area?
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay. Because over the next couple weeks, I did draw the magician card. All right. So there is this
Okay.
ability to connect with the universe and manifest exactly what you want to manifest. And as I'm saying that and as I'm feeling into this energy right now, Irene, I know that I'm guided to tell you to make sure that you're focusing on what you want and not so much what you don't want. I do feel that you do a good job of focusing on what you want, but I feel like sometimes those other thoughts, doubts, insecurities, they may creep in a little bit. Does that make sense to you?
Right, yeah,
Yes. So I know that there's this whole thing about, especially over the next 2 weeks, to be very deliberate about what it is that you want to bring forth in your life, what it is that you want to create, because it almost feels as if, when I'm tapping into your energy right now. It feels like that I've got this open highway in front of me and I'm getting ready to choose exactly where I want to go. And so, with this choice, with this level of openness energetically, I know that your guides are coming through to say, make sure that you're creating, intentionally with this energy. Okay.
right, okay,
Okay. And then over the next 4 weeks, I will say I do have the Two of Cups. Okay. And with the Two of
okay,
Cups, this is a relationship card, meaning that either there could be a relationship presently that grows to a deeper level, that feels like, yeah, we're really on the same page and we vibe very well. Do you already have that relationship in your life?
um, yeah,
Okay.
as in
I
I've
would.
got a relation in my life. It might not be as connected as what I want it to be at the minute, I guess. But is that what you mean then in
Oh,
4 weeks'
okay.
time? That
Okay.
makes
Okay.
sense.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for clarifying about that. I do feel that things get deeper, over the next month.
Okay.
I do feel that we go to a deeper level.
Oh
And the
wow. Okay,
reason
great.
why that I can say that with such certainty is because, not only do we have the Two of Cups that comes up in the, a future position, but in the outcome position of the spread, we have the Lovers, which is a major
Right.
arcana card almost that looks exactly like the Two of Cups. And with the Lovers, there's, this whole thing around a connection with someone else, and it feels like it could possibly be a soul connection. So I do feel as if there's a deepening of, the relationship that you have in your life, that will be coming over the next few weeks. One of the
Okay.
things that does pop up, I know that you're, it comes up in the position of maybe what you're afraid of what, or what you want to kind of, avoid, is I do have the Six of Swords, which for me means moving on from a difficult time, like moving into calmer waters, moving into a better position. So I know that I want to say that, especially over the last 6 to 7 months, I do feel as if it's been a bumpy road for you. I don't feel as if things have always been the easiest, but it does feel now as if things are shifting and you're making a decision to head into calmer territory. You understand that?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Also, I do have the Ace of Pentacles that comes up in the position of external influences. Usually, when I see that, there's been either a new job that's taken or a new job offer that someone is
Yeah.
considering. Does that
Right.
make sense?
I've got a new job. Yeah, as in I'm like about
Oh,
4 or 5 months into a new job.
awesome. Okay, good, good,
Mm.
awesome. And I know that with that feeling, though, this with this new job, it almost feels like, as I'm, connecting with you, as if I've my identity has shifted. How I see myself is changed. How I'm conducting myself and walking through the world has changed, and I'm feeling a lot more empowered. Do you understand that?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Awesome, awesome. Now, the final card, the answer card that we have here is the High Priestess. And I know that I want to say, as you are, traversing this new territory, your relationship is growing deeper. You've got a new job. It feels like, I'm creating my life deliberately. I want you to always remember to tap into your intuition, to always honor what you're feeling, honor what information is coming to you, honor what you feel in your body, what your gut is telling you. Always listen to and honor your intuition and your connection with your higher self. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. And I know that as I'm looking at the High Priestess card, my eye is drawn to the full moon there. And I know that we've got a full moon here in the States on Thursday, and it may come later in the UK or earlier. I'm not sure. But so I know that this full moon is significant for you and how you are creating your future. Okay, Irene?
Okay. Brilliant.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We are at time, but thank you so much for joining. Okay, Irene?
Thank you. That was brilliant. Thank you so, so much. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
All
Take care.
righty,
Bye.
ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, bye. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our episode this week of Stellar Parenting with Brandy. And I'm always happy to be here with you. And I'm wishing you love, joy, peace, harmony throughout the week. Please remember to use all of the energy of the planets this week in a very deliberate and intentional way. And I'll see you back here next week.